We are here with Sean Gosewisch as we preview the 2019 women's cross country season. And Coach, you guys are already about a week into practice, about 4 or 5 days, I guess. So probably a little fatigued, a little tired with all those early mornings. But
just a bit.
I guess before we get even talking about that, let's talk about last year. On the women's side, you had a good group of young freshmen step in and more or less carry the torch for you guys. And now it looks like there's even a younger team here this year with a bunch of those individuals coming back, and now you've got a good new crew. Let's I guess talk about last year though real quick.
Sure. Last year, while it was an improvement, it was realistically still less than stellar year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of freshmen leading freshmen at that point, which is always a tough environment. But those freshmen have learned a lot in that first year, put in a lot of summer miles, and they've come back ready to roll. And we've got a great new crop of freshmen that will be led by the same ones that learned those hard lessons. So.
Right. What were you looking for on the recruiting trail last year? Obviously, it's always a numbers game,
right.
when you're at small college, et cetera. But what type of athlete were you looking for?
Really, just girls willing to buy in. Cross country's not the most enjoyable or easy sport by any means, and it is tough to stay motivated and really put all your effort into it. And you need those athletes because it is a long year and it's a long season. And there's a lot of self maintenance that I can't necessarily do for them. So just athletes willing to work hard and willing to work together and get after it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, however you want to break this down, probably returners first, and we can talk about newcomers. But let's talk about this season, this roster.
Sure. Yeah. 4 of the 5 scorers from last year are back in some capacity. Brianna Lee and Michelle Reyes are 2 of our upperclassmen who have returned. Michelle was out last year, unfortunately, with an injury. She's bounced back this year. We expect big things out of her. Bree is our lone senior on the women's side, so she's got a lot of weight on her shoulders to be the representative there. But as we keep getting lower there, Talasia Duvere, Madison Udy, Zena Cohuil. I can never say her name right.
I barely know how to spell it, so I was like,
She's
I don't know how
told me
you're
a
going to
few
say
times.
it.
Yeah. Those girls are back. They're ready to roll. Like I said, they've learned a ton, and just seeing them run, it's like different athletes at this point.
Right.
For the better. But then we've got a really good group of freshman girls coming in that are working really well with the ones that we have already. People are clicking. Off the top of my head, I expect big things out of Michaela Kamek, freshman out of Texas. She's shown some pretty good running so far. Michaela Keller, who likes to go by Claire, actually not to be confused with one another.
Right.
She's been putting in some really good work. Delana Jordan, she's been running with the girls too. And a big one for us this year will be Ashley Johnson. She transferred from Missouri Western State University.
Right,
and she's right up there with Zena, Maddie, and the rest of the girls. So we should have a pretty solid group up front this year.
Right, and Missouri Western's where former coach Cody Ingold's at, right? In
Yes.
So he was probably able to help a little bit. And I should say help, because obviously you don't want to lose someone, but he'd be able to tell you, I guess, what kind of individual she is, and
absolutely.
Have some insider knowledge going into the season with her. So again, younger group. How have they worked together in the first so many days? I mean, are they ready? Or take some lumps because summer was more work instead of maybe putting in the mileage, and that's tough. For every sport does that. It's not, you can't just pick on the cross country kids, but probably came in maybe not in the most stellar of shape.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can tell, majority of the girls did do most of the work over the summer that they're supposed to. Obviously, anytime you come back and you start adding in some more, you add in some weights, you increase the intensity of what we do a little bit. There will be some bumps and bruises, but apart from the soreness and just general fatigue, things are clicking along pretty well.
Yep. And obviously, with the youngsters, they have to now expect to maybe double their mileage, maybe even more than that versus what they were doing in high school.
Some are significantly higher than
there have been a lot of big eyeballs when you talk about, hey, I want you to put in 50, 60, 70 miles or whatever the situation might be.
Yeah, the first practice we had where we kind of laid out what we were doing that day, there were some wide eyes with, we're doing that as a kind of a mediocre distance day.
Right.
Nothing long by any means, but comes with the territory.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's break down the schedule a little bit. It's fairly similar to last year, but you did have, a few changes that had to come along
Yep.
just because of conflicts, whatever. But break down a little bit of the schedule, especially the highlights.
Sure. This year we open up little bit earlier. Last year we opened up with the Augustana meet up in South Dakota, which we will be going to again. That will be our second meet. Always a great time. But this year we get to open up at a smaller meet at Simpson College. It'll be about 8 teams, less than a full distance race, so it'll be a really good opener for us. Smaller environment. We go back to some of the same meets. We'll be back at Grandview again. We will be going back to the Rock Island Brisbane Lundeen meet. That one's huge. Always super hot, but super good competition as well.
Yeah.
We will actually be going to Central Methodist's regular season meet this year because they are hosting.
Yeah.
And it's always good to get on the
hard
conference
preview.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. And then we'll be back at the Mount Mercy meet. That's always really big with the NAI
Right.
before we go into conference.
Definitely. Break down the conference a little bit. I mean, you've got the normal strength, strong teams of the Benedictines and
Mid-American.
Nazarenes. Excuse me. Right, exactly what I was going to say. It wasn't coming off my tongue. But where I guess, who do you figure to be at the top? Any dark horses in there, and then I guess finish off with where do you think William Penn's going to fall in that mix?
Sure. There has been a lot of turnover actually within the conference, both on the coaching end as well as some of the seniors who've been around and been dominating for 3 or 4 years. So specifically, I know MNU, they always bring in good recruits. I expect them to be good again. They did graduate a lot of their top 5K marathon girls, which will hit them hard, but they're a good program.
They can just reload, or they
Right.
usually would reload, I guess.
Right, and I fully expect that from them.
Mhm.
I expect Mount Mercy to be up there.
Right,
Baker's
right.
always throwing some good girls in. Like you said, Benedictine's always fighting for those top spots. So,
Yep.
those are some of the top 4 schools I expect to see up there again.
Right. Again, any rumors as far as like a dark horse team, like, whoa, they just all of a sudden came out of nowhere with a big recruiting class?
I think CMU might be in that case.
Okay.
Generally they're mid to upper mid of the pack, and
Yeah.
I think they've really done a good job of going out and getting some kind of under the radar kids that'll
Sure.
help out their program.
Definitely. And finally, where the state's going to land in this?
Yeah,
race.
I mean, last year we were, second to last, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think with the girls we have right now, I think we can beat some of those teams that kind of squeaked ahead of us last year. So I'll be feeling better about ourselves if we're finishing 8th, 9th this year out of the 11 school team.
Right.
What's the conference?
And what's the keys for that to happen, and or even jump higher into middle of the group?
Yeah. Honestly, right now, if we keep working the way we're working as a group, I think we'll get there. Like I say it every year, the big key is being healthy, because it is for cross. You got to make sure you're able to run the day that matters.
Sure.
But as long as we learn from each race we do, then we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so next Friday, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Next Friday, over in Indianola, the team will start up against or at the Simpson Bill Buxton Classic. So if you're in the Indianola area, otherwise, you can definitely track down the team at other places throughout the Midwest this fall. So everything William Penn athletics related will be on statesmanathletics.com. Thanks, Coach, so much. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate it.